play about 1 minute of it.
That's cool.
Give me that show.
Throw some volume on that, Joe.
You're welcome. You're on vacation now.
Oh yeah, everybody think I'm an a-hole.
Say it literally.
Yeah.
Like literally the world. They're like, what
You
a
can talk
jerk.
about that too.
Hey, sure. Okay, I'll be the villain.
Why does everyone hate you?
I see the Peter. You know I got a Jones from my own Rashida. Can you put me on with the Niagara?
Turn the AC off. Right next to you. Right
She stay on my thumb. She gon' pull on me. Pull like we entice me. Hey, she my queen. Yeah. 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 She my queen. Sing. Yeah. 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 I said she my queen. Yeah. Yeah. She gon' pull on me. Pull like we entice me. Or Sharon Lee. She stayed down the hall. I call Regina. Keep you bonded on each day on Felisa. She muscle-like nose. She gon' pull on me. Pull like we entice me. Hey, she my queen. Yeah. 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 She my queen. Yeah. 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 I said she my queen. Yeah. Yeah. She gon' pull on me. Pull like we entice me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that was a clip of our tiny desk. Masego's tiny desk. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck is making that noise.
Edit.
Yeah, definitely edit. With this.
It's probably just your the
go.
manly.
Cool. Nice. D-track. Anyways, that was a clip of our tiny desk with Masego. That was what, last year?
That might have been 2019. Yeah. What you think?
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
And what y'all think about that clip?
So good.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
My thing about the live performances is I think it's cool to give people a different version than they can just look up on Spotify. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's why I liked it, because I didn't do my typical note on the beginning. I didn't like do the same scales. You weren't playing how you usually play it. I think it was just fun. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
That was the hardest gig of my life, personally. I don't know if it was just me, but there's like every time you watch Tiny Desk or whatever on YouTube or whatever, it's just like, oh no, the sound is so clear. The PA is like crisp. I don't know who mixed it, but it sounds fantastic. But there's no speakers. So everybody got to like whisper play the entire time.
Yeah.
And I had no idea before I got there. So I'm like trying to listen to Masego and everything. And I'm just like, I can't hear anything, you know?
Yeah, that was the thing. And the guy was kind of being a jerk about it. And, he wasn't being
What's his name?
a jerk.
Bob something?
I don't know. But,
my thing is, I think it's cool because that day we didn't know it was going to be that difficult. But I think we kind of had like a chip in our shoulder, like going into it, like now we're gonna like push through this.
Right.
I mean, we've had a bunch of like difficult performances, but I love the outcome of this one because everyone is like really loving it. Other than thinking that I'm a jerk,
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, the whole world hates.
Like for the
my
record,
treatment.
guys. Yes, he's a jerk. He's an asshole.
It's
But
the worst. Oh, we can curse on this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Fuck.
But
I love you.
it's like it's a joke. That's how we joke. That's how we show our love. And
If
that's
you
how-
all heard the things they say to me, there'd be a different comment section.
So he just happened to have the mic, and so it comes off like, oh, he's just bullying his bandmates, and he's just this, that, and the other. But truth is,
It's all true.
This nigga watch Pokemon. He can't talk shit.
I love Pokemon.
But yeah, so I'm going to introduce you guys. People who may not know who you guys are, and you guys give a brief synopsis of who you guys are. So I'm going to start off with Dan. Dan is a keyboard player, saxophone player, producer. He has produced for Kalani. He's produced for Masego.
Grace Weber.
He's
Yeah, what up?
Grace Weber. He's produced for He's produced for many people.
What's the guy from your church as well?
Oh wow, we going there.
You produced for him as well.
I love how you said, "Oh, I'm gonna give you guys a chance to give everyone a brief synopsis about what it is that you do," and then just read off my whole bio like I was a guest pastor at your church.
You're right. So go ahead, Dan. Tell us a little about yourself.
Who are you?
Where you from? What's your musical background? All that jazz. All that trap house
where
jazz.
you're from?
That's a complex question. I'm not from Brooklyn originally, but raised in DMV. Musical background is like classical, kind of. It's like classical jazz, but primarily white church in a weird way. If that makes any sense. Yeah. CCM? So yeah. Okay. No, I'm being reductive, but basically like CCM. Yeah. No, I learned how to play in white church and just sort of ended up at a bunch of different places by accident. So now I have a really eclectic background, I guess, is the best way to describe what that is.
Cool. And we have Masego. Masego. He's a prolific artist. Definitely on the come up. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Masego, your background, where you're from, your musical background.
Microphone check 1 2. What is this? I'm on the come up. My name is Masego.
Why are you wearing his jacket?
Yo,
I'm sorry. We gotta be serious. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Do we? This is who I am.
There's no joking allowed on this podcast.
Minimal.
Minimal. Okay, so Holocaust phase. Everybody.
Please continue. Edit. Please continue.
So yeah, my name is Masego. I don't know. Musician, Virginia, Jamaican, South African. I'm wearing this jacket because it makes me feel real hip hop. And I never get a chance to not wear silk. So I said, why not for Max's album podcast? Coming soon.
We'll talk about the album later.
Podcast. Edit.
Okay, cool. Well, if you guys don't know me, I'm Maxwell Hunter. Now, I'm a multi-instrumentalist.
What you
play bass, play guitar, play keys. Started off playing violin. I'd say my musical background is jazz, gospel, R&B. I went to school for music production. I learned, a lot about jazz. So yeah, that's my background, and we're gonna segue into, what our inspirations are musically. And I'll start with you, Masego. What do you think your musical inspirations are?
Right now,
yeah,
Joe Budden.
Joe Budden, okay.
That is the inspiration.
Pump it up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
It explains a lot.
If he was here, he would roast y'all. Like, yo, my G. But no, I mean, honestly, the podcast is really what really gets me inspired these days, because the topics that I don't really cover, I'm not a big man on news or like current events, but the way that they present it is making me care about it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's cool. I've already talked about my past and relationships and all that, but my new inspiration has been the Joe Budden podcast. I feel like he's not afraid to get canceled. He's not afraid to disagree. He's the provocateur. So, that's that's my next thing, man. I got this jacket on, this hat. You feel me? I got these braids, man. Joe Budden podcast, bro.
What about you, Dan? What do you think your musical inspirations are, and aspirations, if you want to add that?
Oh, inspirations and aspirations. Inspirations. I think it's honestly, I think since I've been working primarily in R&B and stuff like that as of late, it's like all my inspirations are like the music that nobody that I work with listens to. So it's a lot of film music. It's a lot of a lot of Snarky Puppy, a lot of Hiatus Coyote, but also like a lot of like Koji Kondo and Stravinsky and John Williams and Hans Zimmer and like all the heavy hitters in film, I think. Danny Elfman, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. And so that kind of brings me to the topic of what our like creative process is as musicians and as artists. A lot of times just your everyday musical listener won't know what goes into the creative process and what goes into, how did he come up with that and this, that, and other. So I wanted to talk, what you guys' creative process is where I'll start.
For sure.
Start with you, Masego.
I think something we all share is the drum loop. You know what I mean? I feel like that constant like rhythm allows us to color the music in a unique way.
Right.
Like you find like 30 million ways to play like a certain pattern or chord progression. Same with everybody in this room. So like I love the loop. Even with the looper, you know what I'm saying? But like any like foundation that we can kind of color on, I think that's why we kind of all came together, because I mean, as Dan has pointed out, like I don't have a crazy chord vocabulary. But
to say the least.
But
Come on, A minor.
I provide a canvas that everyone like has a good time coloring. So I think I lean into that, and I leave the Stravinskys and the Delinslys and stuff to Dan, because I feel like that world is gonna embrace them with open arms.
Real racist eventually. I think. Like, this is
Edit.
Only if Dan's involved.
All right. So you're saying you like to start off with the drum loop, and that kind of guides you where the drums kind of lead you to what you decide to paint.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a painter.
There we go. All right, Dan. What about you? What are your creative? What's your creative process? I know you worked with Kalani, with water. Let's just say that for example. What was your musical? You can see it, right? This camera's out, right?
Yeah, no.
But,
No, got you. I gotta.
What was your creative process when you were, going into writing water for Kalani?
I don't even know that I want to discuss it like that. It's not like that. It's not as like methodical for me anyway as it is I think for other musicians. Like typically when Masego's in a studio, he's very like methodical and thorough about how he constructs things. That's like the exact opposite of what it's like for me. It's for me it's inspiration first, and it doesn't really come from like drum loops. I think for me, like primarily it's melody before anything else. Right. Or like I might get random inspiration from like an accidental chord that I played and stuff like that. And for me, like I don't know if you've ever seen that scene from Inception where they're he's where Leonardo DiCaprio was talking to Ellen Page, and they're talking about how like whenever you're coming up with something, it's not like you're not really making it. It seems like you're like discovering it as you go along. Right, you know what I mean? And that really resonated with me. So like I feel like it's like typically when I build things, it's not like I'm gonna put this here and then this here and this, and it's like it was already there the whole time, and I'm just like discovering it as I go along. Gotcha. You know what I mean? So it's it's very organic. It's not as much as I love theory and stuff like that, it's not like my creative process isn't methodical at all. Right. It's very like kind of just like throwing shit at the wall and seeing what happens.
I feel you. I think for me personally, the way I attack music and what my creative process is, it's more so. It varies depending on the situation. So, for example, if I'm in the studio solely for making a record with an artist, I'm going to attack it a different way. For instance, I'm going to kind of already have a chord. First off, I'm going to research the artist that I'm, about to work with. Okay, what kind of stylish do they sing? What kind of musical how are they musically? So I do that, and then I already come to the studio with a mindset, okay, she likes sad, or he or she likes sad music, so I'm gonna have minor chord progressions in mind or so. But if it's just just me, I have a very open creative process. So like you were saying earlier about things happening by mistake, I might I'm playing something on the guitar or bass or keys, and like just a certain chord progressions will stick out to me. I'm like, oh, it's kind of lit. I might use that. So I might build off of that. So it definitely varies for me. It just depends, like old folks pissing. But, just to say.
So you lead the jokes.
Wait, what?
It all depends.
Depends
is a diaper company for
like
old people.
Smooth over my head.
Yeah, it's okay.
I was just like, Wow. Like,
It's all
all
right.
right. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Let me make
Yikes.
sure this is recording still. Yeah. You never heard that from Kanye?
No. It depends. Like old folks pissing. But I heard something else. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about. We've been talking about creative process and how you guys attack music. I want to talk about like collabs, right?
Okay.
So when someone slides in your DMs,
Where is this going?
When someone slides in
slides
your
in your
DMs.
DMs,
Okay.
asking, hey, for example, Masego, I want to collab, right? How do you react to that? What is your what is your
No, I don't want to.
I think I've made it inherently clear I don't like anybody.
okay.
So it's not gonna work for me. I gotta find you on my own. It's just, it takes away the fun. Like, we can't just be like, hey, I'm talented, work. You know what I'm saying? If I get bored though, because I found this one person, this guitar player, that was in my DMs the other day, and just kind of like checked their page out with some cool potential. But I mean, like, I don't think Instagram is like, you really gotta be like somebody to like hit somebody up and like, yo, let's work, and it's via DM.
And they have to be a certain caliber of talent. Like, you can't just be a
That's all. The thing about me though, it's not even about the social clout or like how many records have they sold, but it's like, do I like their music?
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So I mean, not that it takes a verified check to get to me, but like if somebody else says, yo, such and such hit you up in the DM, or like they find a way to get to me via one of y'all or something like that, I might check it out. But I mean, yeah, it just goes with, do I like the music? Like a lot of people hit me up like with money attached to it, like, yo, you should work with such, they got a budget,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And then after me and Dan argue, we're like, why didn't you take it? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm the provocateur, I'm for the culture.
Boo.
Dan's like, take the money,
Right.
I could buy more hair gel. Oh, sorry, Max leads the jokes.
We're really doing this today.
No, it's cool.
No, this is fine. I've been waiting for this for the last 10 minutes.
You've been ready
No,
for
here we
church
go.
this whole time. Them socks.
All right, Dan. So I know on Instagram it's like, people sliding your DMs. You don't know who they are. How do you like? What's your process of like vetting if you want to work with somebody or not?
No, I think for me it's essentially the same thing. I mean, granted, given that my entire background has been like composition and performance and arranging and stuff like that prior to like me moving to LA, we could just, I need to see what this is.
What? No, I was just checking out your Instagram, and then you were just.
Wow. No,
just
if we need
running
to do
to the beat.
Instagram deep dives, we could do Instagram deep dives.
Hey, I'm taking L's, man. I'll be the villain.
Okay. So
Anyway, but yeah, no, what I was saying, I lost my train of thought. No, I think like just what Masego was saying, it's essentially, for me, it's basically the same thing. I mean, granted, I kind of just got to LA, and I've only had like a couple of major placements since I moved here.
right.
So I'm not in a place where I'm, oh no, I'm only gonna work for the art, art before anything, So like I'm not that like no, like if you're like good at what you do, and there's a bag attached to it, then sure, no, I'm definitely on board to work, But I think like if you slide my DMs or whatever, hey, I want to work, naturally I'm gonna check your catalog first.
Right.
So I mean, even if you don't have any, like if you have no budget at all, but like your work is solid, just because before anything else, I'm a musician, I'm a composer.
Right.
Like that's what's gonna attract me.
Okay.
Because I don't want to, put myself out there and put like a brand out there and just be like, oh yeah, no, you slid in the DMs, let's just work like just for shits and gigs.
Right.
No, I think at this point, you kind of need to be a little bit selective about where you spend your time and your energy and your talent and stuff like that.
Okay. So with that being said, so if you guys don't know, we've been out in LA, me and Dan specifically. All right, so boom,
Talk
we
your
all
shit.
live together, right? Me and Dan have been here for about a year.
I just hit a year
Okay.
in
Hey,
August.
congratulations, man.
Thank you,
There we
man.
go. Woo, I'm adding some.
Got my first
celebrations.
LA
Applause.
ticket.
So we've been out here for a year and a half, basically. Masego's been out here longer, but we've been living together for about a year and a half, maybe a year. I wanted to ask you guys about. Thank you. Way to ruin a podcast. Chapter 1. Play Jamaican noise. All right. So.
I'm sorry.
Woo. All right.
Okay.
So
I'm listening.
we've lived together. So I want to know about you guys. How do you think us living together has affected our sound as music, like our own music?
No, I was thinking about that recently actually, because like now, like, you know, first thing in the morning when you jerks are playing, you know, like when you play, I hear like Masego now, and when Masego plays, I hear myself, and it's really weird.
No, that's mad true.
It's a thing.
Actually,
Yeah, no, and it happened like completely organically. It just, I mean, and it's funny because like, you know, we'll just be kind of hashing it out, or just, you know, like hanging out around the crib and stuff, and listening to each other play, and sort of just by happenstance we like pick up on like these subtle nuances that everybody puts into their own music.
Right.
And it's funny as hell, man, because he's playing shit now that he never would have played before. Right. And it comes from you, it comes from me, and like the same, like I play shit now that Sego would play like when he was on tour and shit like that. And that's shit that I never ever would have played, and it just like weaseled its way like into like my.
So you're
my
getting
style.
less talented. I'm getting better.
That is correct. Yeah, no, that's it's fucking osmosis, man. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know, like I do like little churchy licks like when I'm playing in church now that I never would have played before, just because you churchier than I am when you're on keys. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Big facts.
Churchier and jazzier. So for. No, I mean, it is what it is.
You want to talk about mothers? I bet.
No. So, for example, I think a great example is, okay, so you know, let's say Drake would have a completely different sound if Lil Wayne hadn't taken him under his wing, right?
Fact.
Sometimes I think about like, what would Drake be like if Lil Wayne didn't take him under his wing, as opposed to, like, to say Will Smith? No shade to Will Smith.
Drake would have been positive as hell.
Or for example, Nicki Minaj. What would Nicki Minaj's sound would be if, you know, she hadn't gone to Young Money, you know, as opposed to she went to like QC? What would her sound be? So I also think about, like, for example, in one example that's closer to home, what would Veg Out be without, if Dan had not been living here? Would Veg Out even be a song? So if you guys don't know, Veg Out is a single that Masego dropped a couple months ago. Dope song, check it out. It's called Veg Out, VEGOUT. But Daniel here, he produced a large part of it, and that's him on piano, what you're hearing. So my question is, if Dan wasn't living here, how do you think that song would be, if it would even be a song?
I feel like that sort of implies like a question or a different question. It's I think before we get there, it's more, are you more inspired, like are your songs more inspired by melody, or do you have like lyric ideas first?
Heavens no, it's melody first. Like we'll hit the whole question. So like, yeah, people joke on my lyrics from back in the day because it's like, oh, this isn't lyrically in depth. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I love melody. And if I get a good lyric off, then like, cool, wasn't trying. But anyway, with your question about the artist and the umbrella that they're underneath, right? Right. So, you know, we can just start with Drake. I feel like who you're trying to fit in with shapes your sound. Like Drake, he's mad huge with the New Orleans sound and Houston and of course his Toronto roots, but like him really honing into that Lil Wayne style punchline bars, but like delivered in a sing-songy way, made him who he is. And then Nicki Minaj, like, I mean, especially in that time, you need a cosign, and like you need like a person to, like, you need to be under somebody's wing, especially as a woman. Just back in that day, like, you know, with a woman talking as like bold as she did, like having that validation from like a real trash talker like Wayne, like really helped her initially. Like, yo, y'all, like, big her up, let her talk her trash. So that's cool. And then with Daniel, the thing with it is like,
it's so weird.
It is. Michael, no. Okay.
Oh, you see how he do you?
Wow.
But nah, being on tour, like us being around each other, that song came from Soundcheck, and like Dan has a certain like foundation in, you know, like scores, you know what I mean, like something that sounds like it should be on like a film or a movie. And like when he played it, I was like immediately inspired by it. I was like back, it was during like a sound check.
Definitely has like an anime cinematic vibe.
That's his bag.
Yeah,
like
right.
he can do that better than all of us, just like
Right.
those type of things. And I feel like back then I got inspired to approach it because I kind of entered his world with how I approached the pocket. So it just, you know, it goes back and forth. And I feel like when we finally made it a record, it's just all the influences pouring into one. Like I was trying to appease a certain sound that I was trying to get to, because I was like, man, I really love the pockets Trippie Redd sits in. I love the visual aspect of Dan's playing, and I love just the melody that I thought of on tour. So
Right.
together made that record. So it is a very good question you asked though, but like you are who you hang around.
That's true.
Like if we
Very
was all
true.
hanging out with Said all day, we'd be making some check-ins.
Turkeys.
You know what I'm saying? We'd all sound different because LA musicians sound different than East Coast. So the fact that we still hang out with each other, we hold true to certain like sounds and approaches, which I feel separate us from everybody else.
Right.
No, that's the thing.
Right.
And I mean, it's funny that you say that because like it's, you know, like the melody is what inspired, like the Veg Out melody is what inspired you to do, like to make Veg Out. But like I was inspired by the Shouty Fishin', you know, melody to make
gotcha.
the melody for what a Veg Out would eventually become.
Right.
You know, because I mean the chords are like the same, we just like transpose and like have like, I mean it's like heavily modified, but like it's essentially the same thing.
So it's like a cycle almost.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, that's interesting because I feel like the song I have coming out, Cynthia,
Oh, flex.
would be yeah,
Flexing your podcast.
No, we'll talk about that later. But I have a song on my EP. I have an EP coming out. It's called Merlot, and on the EP I have a song called Cynthia, which features Masego and features Dan. And I was talking a couple days ago about it, and I was thinking like, yo, Cynthia would not be Cynthia if Masego wasn't on it or Dan sax playing. So I was trying to think, what would it be like if I had, like, let's say, what's an artist?
Brent Faiyaz.
Yeah,
Sick. Run it up. All right.
like if I had Brett Fires or Smino rapping on it instead of Sego singing on it, or like what's a musician? Thundercat doing the soloing,
Or Jacob Collier on sax.
I hate y'all.
or Jacob Collier, or Corey Henry. It would be a completely different vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Automatically, yeah.
I mean, it would still have the same nucleus of me, of what I did on the track, but it would still have it would be a completely different thing. So I think it's very interesting how that works. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I agree, man.
No, for sure. I mean, I think when you write a song, but you invite musicians to become a part of it, like all you're doing essentially is like providing a landscape for like the musician of your choice to fill that space with their. I mean, as LA as it sounds, like you're just asking like random niggas to fill your space with their energy, or whatever, to make it. Like it's like really all you're doing is like cultivating a vibe, or like you're you're like a curator, like someone that's like running a museum or some shit. And it's like, okay, like I wrote this song. I think I want energy from this person. I want energy from this person. I want energy from this person.
Right. And so that kind of segues us into what I've been thinking about lately. Do you guys think there's like a shift in the music industry back to like real musicianship? So we know back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
You know that because you were born then.
that out. No, but back in the day, like there was a real like musicians were the rock stars, like people like Miles Davis, Coltrane, Dizzy Gillespie, Herbie Hancock, Quincy Jones. They were the Drakes of their time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody around the world knew who they were because specifically of their musicianship and how great they were at the instrument. But nowadays it's like you don't, and because of their talent, they had actual talent. And I feel like nowadays the artists nowadays, let's keep it 100.
It's more about the brand versus the
right.
Yeah. So
And
like,
so
that's what it is.
but I'm seeing lately like I feel like there are more musicians who are becoming artists, and people are starting to appreciate musicianship. So I want to see what you guys thought. Do you think there is a shift back to musicianship in the industry now?
I mean, my thing is, this is a time where brand is still important, though. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like people on social media will big up a talented person nowadays versus just getting lost in the like, oh, I like this beat, or like, oh, this is the right vibe, or they have the right like buzzword in the song. You know what I mean? But like, I think other people can win nowadays that are talented. Even if their brand isn't as sharp as before. Like back in the day, you had to. It depends on what like lane you're looking at. Like the musician age you talked about, or like the superstars that like sung and danced and did the whole nine.
Right.
So I feel like nowadays you can just authentically show who you are, be consistent with that, and be talented and win. So but I do feel there's a shift of like, you know, talent can win a little bit more because people just like good music.
Right. That's true.
So
what about you, Dan?
Yeah, no.
Why are you such nigga? Stop trying to sun me. God damn. The chords are great. I like that. But no, that's a big question.
It hurts.
No, I mean I think there's part of me wants to say that there's a shift, but I feel like if I say that there's a shift, we sort of like we kind of shit on that everything that like Prince was and everything that Michael Jackson was and everything that like you know. I mean, I don't want to like reference R. Kelly, but everything that R. Kelly was and stuff like that, you know. It's no, because I mean, obviously there were like highly successful, highly skillful writers, musicians, composers, producers before we got here. I mean, granted, like we have cats like Tom Misch, Charlie Puth, who are like, you know, phenomenal musicians, phenomenal
John
writers,
Mayer.
you know, exactly. And that's so I don't think that is it's your ability to be an excellent musician and artist at the same time has been a thing for a long time, you know.
Right.
It's for me it's disrespectful to say that there's been like a noticeable shift, you know, because it's been a thing for a long time. Oh shit. But I do feel, I mean, just from the conversations I've had like over the last year and the sessions that I've been involved in, it's like less of a shift, but I feel like there's just more room for musicians to be successful now, because before it was like, you know, musicians were nameless. So like from what I've noticed, it's not really a thing anymore. Like you can literally like just be good at your instrument and like, you know, be involved in like different acts and stuff like that, you know, for like Beyonce or whomever, and it's like you're not a nobody, right? You know what I mean? So it's no, that I feel like there's more room for us now as composers, as musicians, as producers, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like just the climate today in the music industry is like, I do feel like there's slowly a shift from, you know, I could say trash music, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. From, you know, people recognizing, you know, the I'm trying to think of a really trash artist. Masego, do you know any trash artists?
Yo, what you doing? What's the guy that can get hurt the most? Hey, Masego.
No, but I'm trying to think. Like,
whose career stands to
I'm trying to think. Who do I think is a trash artist?
You really taking it there?
You're okay. Hey,
get in there, man. Hey,
trash artist.
How much do you hate Ariana Grande? For the record, I love Ariana Grande.
I like Ariana Grande. I mean, you know what I mean? She's a pop artist. I can't, it's like, but I like Ariana Grande, but it's just the genre of pop. I'm not really a big fan of pop because it's cookie cutter, and it's like, it's pop. Like, it's not what I'm into. I'm into a very niche genre of music.
Sure.
So pop is what everybody people who are not musically inclined like.
Ouch.
You know what I'm saying? No, it's facts. That's why it's called pop.
I understand.
Because it's popular.
Do you feel as though, like, since you moved here, because you've been exposed to way more of it, some sessions or working with whomever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that you can, even though it's not really your bag, you gave me the shit, Mike. Like, this is, yeah. Do you think
it's very expensive?
I'm sorry, you gave me the shit, Mike Stan. Do you think that since you moved here, that even though it's not really your bag, that you can appreciate it more? Because I feel like pop music, for me anyway, just not listening to as much pop as I listen to now, it's less about the artist, musically anyway, like sonically, it's less about the artist and much more about the producer. Because like you hear like the 3-4 chords that you hear in a pop song or whatever, and it's not, the chords themselves aren't really special, but like the production, like all the nitpicking that you hear, like it's to
Honestly,
me that's what's more impressive.
I feel like pop has no soul. There's no soul in pop. So it's just
Charlie Puth has entered the chat.
Ooh, I love Charlie though.
I love Charlie Puth too, but no, like I really feel like in pop there's no soul, like not really. And so, but I think it places more emphasis on the actual artist than I think what Masego was talking about, the brand, than more so the producer. And producers don't get a lot of love to begin with, so I feel like it just goes back to the artist, and that's what kind of carries that song. But yeah, I like I said before, I feel like there is a shift from the pop and just the trap, rap dudes and stuff like that, and I feel like there's a little bit more slowly a shift to real musicianship and spotlight being focused on musicians and things like that. And also, like I said, I was saying this earlier last week, I feel like there are definitely tiers in music, right?
Yeah. So
at your lower level, you got your musician, right? He's like the grunt. Let's keep it 100.
No, like 100%.
He's like the grunt. I was a musician.
Yeah,
I know. I did especially like bar gigs and stuff like that. He's the grunt. He has the least leverage, and above that is the producer, right? Mm-hmm. The producer has a little bit more power, has leverage, and creates a sound. And the producers use sometimes musicians in order to get that, but it's the musician, producer, and then on top of that, it's the artist. Artist gets more love, they get more leverage, they get the spotlight, they get more money, they get the clout, this, that, and the other. And then above them, of course, is like the execs and stuff like that. But with that being said, I do feel like the musicians are starting to realize, if I become a producer, I get more power. Or go from musician to, like, for example, I use myself as an example, right? I was a musician. I'm still a musician, but I said, hey, I think like for what my vision is, I think I'll be better suited as an artist, right?
Sure.
Because I want to kind of transcend that hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? So what did I do? Made an EP, Name Her Low. It'll be out probably in October, and we'll see where that goes. But I say that to say, I think there's a shift.
There's a shift coming, ladies and gentlemen.
You heard it here first.
But yeah, I think that was cool. Pretty cool. Any other thoughts before we
what outfit lost to this one?
Oh, so we got jokes.
Edit. I think two more extra notes. One, I think it's very valuable both of y'all's perspective on the music industry, because like you see that hierarchy from different like positions, because you see how like I move, you see how Dan moves, yourself, you are friends with different producers, so
right.
It's cool to like see your perspective on that. And then with Dan, like I don't get placements for real. I feature on things, but like I don't make beats and like live in that world. So it's cool to see Dan.
You don't have to. You're Masego. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So yeah.
I mean, I also am Masego.
Oh, double flex. All right, yeah.
I was trying to big my man's up. He's like, keep sunning him.
Get it, you're famous, whatever.
Wow. Trying to big your man's up.
Can't say
I was literally about to sing y'all's praises, like, but you Masego, you can do whatever you want.
All right, go ahead.
But like,
how little am I? Go ahead. What were we about to say?
right? But no, like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I value your perspective because, like, that world of making something and then an artist hopping on it and then just kind of being a part of that side of it versus like me still as an artist hopping on someone else's work, but I can still kind of still dictate what's happening with the song and whatnot. So
Right.
it just makes me like pull back and reflect on like how the whole game is. But yeah, if I can just leave with any gem, like, you know, advertisers are on the top of all those tiers. Like they have the money and the power to just buy artists to do whatever they want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that if you're looking up, it's like, all right, yeah, I'm Masego, I'm this big person, but it's like, who's sponsoring the festival?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you told me this before. Like advertising runs the world.
It does.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's like a matter of how much you want to play a part in that, or try to. I'm still trying to figure out how to like shift that a little bit because I don't like it, but that is how it is.
Right.
As you said with the other tiers, it's like your musicians don't have enough power in this.
Oh yeah, they have. We're like the sugar and sweets on the food chain. Like we're very small top.
No, that's the thing. Because it took me forever to like, or rather, I had to have a bunch of conversations with different producers who work in the industry or whatever, who are saying obviously you're a musician, you're a composer first, but you can't. If you're like in my shoes anyway, when you're trying to sort of navigate the industry in LA, trying to figure out how to make a nest egg for yourself making music, and just as a producer and as a composer, you can't go into these sessions saying, "Oh no, I'm a musician," because then people are going to say, "Oh no, they're going to try to pay you like a musician."
Right?
They're going to want like versus, "Oh, you deserve like this amount of pub and this amount of credit or whatever, and this advance for making the song, for writing the music." They're going to say, "Oh no, you're a session musician here. Here's $200 for the day." You can't do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, great point, excellent point, because it's like I said. Musicians on the bottom and producers on top of them. So like Dan was saying, if a producer says, oh, you come to a session and you're saying, oh, I'm a studio musician, you're not going to get any, for the most part, you're not going to get any like percentage on the song. They're going to pay you here's $300, $500, however much you're charging, but you're not going to get any royalties on that song unless you have it, set up, unless you're like, what's a musician that's popping? Unless you're like, I
mean, I think a good example is like Ron Gilmore, because like, he's one. You have to say his full name. You can't just be like that.
You can't say Ron.
That nigga that play keys for J. Cole. It's like no, like Ron can like say something because he's like, bro, this melody, no one's gonna play it like me. And then even though he doesn't take this position, when I go with your point,
Ron Gilmore's a producer though.
Yes, he is.
He's a producer, so he's not even in that lane anymore. So he's kind of transcended from, okay, I'm not just a musician. He's smart. I'm not a musician. I'm a producer.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing. Like he's
big facts.
He's not a musician. He's a producer.
Yeah. Once you actually like really can be called a producer by other producers, like that's when it really. That's when that shift takes place.
Right.
Like what's the guy with the large head that we know? Justice. Yeah, Justice West, amazing musician, super talented. Love that guy. Large head. I got large nostrils. It balances out.
Orange on a toothpick, low key.
But like,
It's massive.
He can be considered a producer because his beats are on that level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like he can get a placement as a producer right now.
But I feel like it's important not to pigeonhole yourself, because for me, I see Justice West as a guitar player, it hasn't registered to me that okay, he's a producer yet. You know what I'm saying? So
because you don't know what he's made.
Sure, the branding is more important than anything else.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I like that.
Exactly.
I like that as well because
so he's made it to me. He's made his brand as a guitar player. You know what I'm saying?
No. Good point. Good point.
So, granted, he may have produced a lot of stuff. I heard his stuff. It sounds phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, when I think of Justice West, oh, that nigga wears the thick glasses and plays guitar.
You know what? No, that's a valid point. And I think what he's trying to do right now is become an artist.
Right.
So he's trying to level up from producer to artist when, as you're saying, people still see him as a musician.
Right. And it can be very hard sometimes to
transcend.
Transcend and get out that pigeonhole that people put you in. So
it is branding, though. That's a very good point,
right.
though. Because,
and I think that's why, for me personally, I think it was very important for me to move out of Virginia, because Virginia is very like, oh, you have to be the dopest musician. You know what I'm saying? And like they have this mindset. I love Virginia. I love my hometown, Norfolk, Virginia, and just the 757 altogether, but. The musicians there are like, oh, we are just this one thing, church musicians.
Facts.
And R&B, but it's gonna sound like a church record.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I for me, it was very important for me to, number one, get out in that environment, because it kind of stifles your creativity, being around people.
Yeah, who are leveling up within that sphere. That makes sense. Yeah.
And two, you get going to a new place and you kind of can create your own, you know what I'm saying? Virginia, I'm probably known as a bass player. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
Yeah, bass player, guitar player. But here, you know, new place, people don't really know who I am yet. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a
know.
producer. So I think it's important that, you know, you get to a place where you can kind of build your own thing. You know what I mean?
Big facts.
And not get pigeonholed. It's very important. So,
what are you going to be, Dan?
gardener.
Well, this has been great. I'm gonna
gardener.
take this L. And didn't I say this was gonna get racist eventually? That's exactly what I said 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, but yeah, guys. So you know, this is all great content, great you know, great what's the word?
Nearly there. Almost. Once more.
Conversation. There we go.
Well done. Well done, everyone.
But nigga, I just said convo. He was like, no, the longer version of that.
It's like convo, but smart. I don't know what it's.
Now, it was great conversation, great topics, and I think it's very important for like just, you know, not outside of us, but musicians who are listening to this and watching this to like, you know, have that dialogue,
know what it is,
and study yourself, approve, and you know, learn your craft, learn your industry, learn that business to kind of you know, to better yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So
you just said all musicians from 757 suck. That's basically what you said.
I did not. No,
that's literally.
And
what
that's
you
the thing. 757 has some of the best musicians in the world.
He was just saying, like, for his path, he doesn't want to be in that circle,
right?
Because there's people that really make good money as organists or whatever,
right?
Like,
right, and that's for them. You know what I'm saying?
Junebug, man.
Oh, Junebug's a monster.
So tight,
Junebug is a monster. Shout out Junebug. Shout out BJ Brown.
Yeah, talented. It's just like, what's your desire? Like, you know, you wanted something different, and like LA can give you that different.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the mindset. Like, what you want. What are you willing to settle for? Because
like I couldn't succeed in Virginia in that realm.
Yeah, because they're thinking, oh, he's a weirdo. He doesn't sound like Kiki Shepard, or he doesn't sound like John P. Key.
No, me neither. I'm not churchy enough in any lane. So yeah.
And there goes.
Well, there's the fire alarm, because Maxwell's EP's dropping soon.
Yeah.
Merlot.
Yeah. Y'all, this is in conclusion, guys. I know that the cameras just went out, but what do you guys have coming out? What do you guys have in the works? What's new? What's coming on? Start with you, Masego.
I feel like I'm trying to figure out where.
I know you just dropped Golden Ticket. That's kind of lit.
Yo, shout out Common. You know what I'm saying? Taraji P. Hinton. I saw your DM. I'll hit you back later. Yeah, you know, I feel like we just dropping little 2-packs every now and again. I'm about to drop some pictures pretty soon. That's all I'm doing, man.
Okay. No albums coming out soon. No EP.
No, I'm trying to figure out when this is dropping. You know what I'm saying?
Is it butt? Let me see.
No. It's this new button.
Buttons.
Yeah,
that is a fantastic
it's like an upgrade
button.
for this
New
app.
keyboard.
Yeah, no, those corduroy jeans are fantastic.
Yeah, so that's all I'm working on right now.
Right, Dan, I know Dan, you got the Kalani record out. Y'all go ahead and stream Water.
He's mentioning Water so much like she's not already famous.
No, but it's a dope.
If you don't promote that Grace Weber right now, yo,
No, shout out to
bump
Grace
that
Weber,
Grace
man. I
Weber
love that
right
girl.
now, yo.
No, but yeah, Dan, Veg Out, Water,
Veg Out, Water,
Grace Weber.
stuff like Grace Weber.
Uh,
Got another song coming out with this cat named Kyle Lux.
There we go.
Just a bunch of other nonsense short film stuff. You know?
Ombre. Shout out to Ombre.
Yo,
Shout out to Ombre.
There we go. And you know,
well,
My Uber Eats is here.
it's getting fire out here,
No,
man.
but,
I'll tell you.
yeah, I have an EP out coming out. It's called Merlot. It's gonna be really dope. I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for a long time. Got my brothers on it. Got Masego on a couple tracks. Got Dan on a few tracks. And it's gonna be dope. I have a shoot tomorrow for the album cover, and it should be litty.
Super good.
Yeah. And you can follow me on Instagram, Maxwell_Sensei. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out and on YouTube. It's just Maxwell Hunter on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
You ain't gotta follow me. I'm already famous.
yeah, follow Masego on Instagram. It's follow your nose at toucansam.com. No,
That's all I need. How about you, Dan? What's your? I think you just hit 3,200 followers.
Hey.
Bang, 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 bang.
It's not even there.
but yeah, follow Dan at Dan the Manimal.
Yep, sounds about right.
At Dan _the_Manimal.
All that, yep. So many underscores. All that.
Or if make sure you follow up his backup page, Dan the Gardener.
Also follow the Trap House Jazz Instagram page. Is just Trap House Jazz.
Yeah, I forgot the password to that, but somebody.
Yeah.
did.
And yeah, man, we're gonna
This junk is wild.
wrap it up. It was fun. This is episode 1 of Lobby Call.
Lobby Call is a fire.
That's a good name.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's a really good
Appreciate
name.
it.
it's a really good name.
Lobby Call. And yeah, man, y'all be easy. Y'all stay corona free, and stay entanglement free. And yeah.
Sick.
All right, man.
Yeah.